what about the med beds? Look at it at the end of the year by November coming out.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing is that these shots, they alter the
DNA.
DNA. And that's something that the med bed cannot reverse. However, the galactics can reverse the DNA damage.
Oh my goodness! Thank goodness!
So
Thank
you
goodness!
need, for people that need help with it, they need to ask the galactics for help, and they will step in. And God, they need to become a lot more spiritual, and
Mm-hmm.
and trust in love, and also for getting the help. They will help. Um,
You do
uh,
have to ask, though. That's really important, isn't it?
you have to ask, and you have to become more spiritual. If you don't ask and you don't become more spiritual, you will leave
Sukum.
this planet early.
Hi, this is Paul speaking for Free Range with Gail of Gaia. Today's program features psychic freedom fighter, radio host Ted Mahr. Stay tuned, you're not going to want to miss this. This is Free Range with Gail of Gaia.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time it is, wherever you are. This is Gail of Gaia, and this is Free Range. And this always reminds me of the Truman Show ever since Dave said that. But anyway, we kind of do live in a Truman Show. But I have today with me Ted Mahr, and he is a very interesting person, man. And he is a psychic, and he sponsors trips to very spiritual areas. And so, Ted, why don't you tell us a little more about yourself and the kinds of things you do, and the beings that you're in contact with, and all that kind of good stuff?
In 25 words or less? Just
No,
kidding.
take as long as you want. Take as long as you want. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Well, I come from a psychic family. My foster mother was a master psychic. She used to work for the Seattle area police departments finding missing and lost children for many years.
Oh, wow. Oh, that just gave me goosebumps. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah. They would come to
Wonderful.
her with a tough case, and they would say, "Teri, we can't figure this out. Can you help us?" So they would give her a picture of a child or a piece of clothing or maybe a toy or something, and she'd be able to tell what happened to that particular individual. A lot of times, as you can well imagine, it was very difficult work because the child might have been brutally murdered, sexually assaulted, you name it, dead.
I
Um,
know, and the planet is first beginning to learn more about that as we speak.
right.
I believe that's why I'm here, is for the children and getting out as much truth as I possibly can.
Hmm.
Um,
Hmm.
and so, anyway, go
So,
on, please. That's
yeah.
very fascinating.
So she started teaching me how to talk to the other side beginning in November of 19. When what year? That was 1994. And
Oh,
so she taught me till she passed away in 2012. So that was a good 18 years. And then so since that time, I've been talking to the other side on my own. Most recently, about 6 years ago, 7 years ago, I started talking with benevolent extraterrestrials. Actually been in contact with the benevolent Pleiadians since 1976, 77. But then things got ramped up quite a bit when I became in contact with the Galactic Alliance back about 2014. 14 is when I got in contact with them. And then after that, it's been an interesting life because for me, I want to show you my book. Talking to the other side is as normal as it is talking to you on this dimension here. So I don't make a distinction between the two. I was cleaning up my little office area today, and wouldn't you know it? Oh, here we go. Here's my book. Yeah, I wrote a book a couple of years ago called Messages from the Masters. It
oh,
includes
yes, I did. I saw that on your site. Yeah,
yeah,
let's
yeah.
talk about that. May I ask you
Mm,
one thing before you go on?
sure,
And that
sure.
is, when you talk to the benevolent beings, is there anything that you do to protect yourself from it being a not so benevolent being disguising itself as a benevolent being? If that makes
That's a
sense?
Yeah, that's a very good question. And what I do is that I always cover myself, and I'll do this for us as well. I cover ourselves with a cone of white light. Then I put a series of mirrors around us facing outward to deflect any negativity. And I ask God and the angels to put that into effect for the next 24 hours. I do that. And after I do that, I do what's called the hue, which is a meditation technique to bring in.
Oh, I used to do
Is that
that.
classic?
I used to
Okay,
do the
so
hue. Yeah, I know
okay,
about the hue. Yeah, yeah,
okay,
yeah.
great,
Scott
great, Gail.
Lemriel. I don't know if you've ever heard of Scott, but he used to do journeys, and I used to interview him on a regular basis, do
Oh, okay.
meditations, and we would do the hue.
Oh
Always do the
yeah,
hue.
yeah, yeah. Well, let's do it now. I always like to bring them in, so just say it with
Oh,
me.
okay.
I do it 3 times. Hugh, Hugh. It's the HU in human, and Hugh. Okay, good. It's always nice to have that protection.
Thank you.
So, anyway, I'll never forget. I walked into my foster mother's living room in November of 1994, and she told me everything that was on my mind. I had questions to ask her, and I asked her. Well, she answered all my questions before I had a chance to even open my mouth. So I was sold. I said,
Oh,
"Oh my
that was
goodness,
telepathic.
this is amazing. This is amazing."
Yeah.
So I studied under her for. She gave me life reviews almost every day or multiple times during the day for about 18 years. And then after that, I did my own life reviews. Life review is typically happens, Gail, when after you pass on, then you review your whole life from your perspective and also for the perspective of everyone else you've been interacted with, including animals, pets, animate and inanimate
Yeah.
objects.
Mhm.
So God knows what that fly thought of you when you swatted him and squished him. Could have,
Yes.
So anyway,
Yeah.
you look at it from various perspectives. But I've been doing that now for many years, and I've advanced a little over, well over. I got the number 585 spiritual lifetimes since then, and
Uh-huh.
if each spiritual lifetime is worth 80 years, I've advanced about. Let's see, 585 times 80 equals what? That's 4,000 or 5,000 years, something like that. It would have taken me almost 5,000 years of regular Earth lives on this planet to achieve where I am now, if uh, if I had to do it without psychic guidance, the psychic guidance and
Mm.
and intuitive
Wow.
guidance I had during this lifetime. So
Maybe I
anyway,
need some of that now.
everybody
Okay.
does. Yeah, everybody does. Yeah, everybody does. So
Okay.
anyway, and I want to thank you first also for inviting me on today. This is such a treat. Thank you so much. It's nice to really nice to meet you. And I want to thank our friend Tom Palladino for referring me to you. And
Yes, I do too. He's a wonderful humanitarian man. And
absolutely.
I'm absolutely glad that I did. And when I looked up your site, I was going, oh my goodness, this is so relevant. Like I said, I know you've been, when you were to Mount Shasta, I know who Adama is, and and the people of Telos, and like I said, I named my pet, my dog, after Shasta. I swear she's an angel in a fur body, and
Yeah.
she helps me get through some tough things that I've had thrown at me, and I'm just elated about this. And then I saw you also have a book by Dr. Emoto.
Yeah. Yeah. The book is from the Emoto Peace Project in Tokyo,
Uh-huh.
and
That's
it's called
fascinating too.
Message from Water. And if you want a copy, you can get it from Michiko Hayashi, who's the head of the organization.
Mm-hmm.
And I can just give you her. It's what is it?
I didn't think it
Hayashi.
was available anymore, but that's
Yeah,
good to know.
it's available. Yeah, yeah. You go to Hayashi, Hayashi at hado.com or .net. I think .com. But
It's
anyway,
on, yeah, it's on your website, isn't it?
it's on my
Can you get
website. Yeah, you can also go to outofthisworldreadings.com, and it's all there too.
Yeah, yeah, that's where I saw it. And that's fascinating because I loved his work. It was absolutely awesome. And I think this is the thing that I think about when I think about that sort of thing is that what our thoughts are so important to be
Yeah,
positive and loving
they
because
are.
we're 80% water.
That's right. We are. Yeah, we are.
So
We are 80% water and 70 to 80% water. And so Dr. Moto always used to say that water is God and God is water.
say that again.
He used to say that God is water and water is God.
Oh my.
Yeah, because it's in everything, really, the God force,
Yeah, it is.
you
That's
know.
interesting. I didn't know he
Mm.
said that. That's fascinating.
Yeah, he did. He did.
Okay.
He actually,
I mostly saw his different pictures and the different words that he put on things and how he worked with his, and that was just absolutely fascinating.
mhm. He didn't die a natural death. He was poisoned by the Chinese in 2014.
Oh,
So, but
that's
actually, the
sad.
Chinese were acting on behalf of the reptilians. It's a long story, but um, after that happened, he died in October 17th, 2014. After that happened, the Chinese tried and the reptilians tried to um, destroy the rest of the office. The following year, they were protected, weren't able to do it. And so they continue their work today. Today.
Oh, wow, that's awesome.
They're
That's good
still
to
going
know.
just fine, strong. And I
That's
also
good.
do a lot of work for them here as well. So,
That's wonderful. That's so
yeah,
sad that people that are doing wonderful things for the planet are taken out in that manner because
I
of
know.
these evil, malevolent beings.
Hmm.
There's a lot of, can you address that at all? Is that being taken care of by the galactic
It's a tricky
councils or
issue.
benevolent or whatever? Because they talk about the prime directive or they can't intervene, but at the same time, I have to challenge that because it was intervened already by malevolent beings that were acting incorrectly. At least I don't know. I'm just saying that. What do you? I'd be more interested in what you have to say about it than myself.
Right, right. Well, the free will, they do respect free will. And that's one of the issues with the current jab program, because people are taking that of their free
Jab.
will.
Oh,
The
oh,
jab,
oh, oh, oh,
the
yeah.
jab.
Okay,
Yeah, I
okay.
don't
Yeah,
want to
yeah,
say
yeah,
the
yeah.
B word.
But wait a minute, wait a minute. Let me interject here because I'm going to have to say something on their behalf, even though I'm very annoyed that they do this, but they have been lied to. They have been
True,
deceived. They
true.
have not been given full disclosure.
Right.
And so I wonder if it's really fair. So
It's
that's the
not.
problem I see.
It's not.
So,
Yeah.
okay, go ahead.
Yeah. I agree
Continue.
with you totally, Gail. Totally. I agree with you totally. But for many people in that program,
Mhm.
they will not live beyond this year. Those who do live into next year can look forward to mad cow disease and AIDS, HIV, because that's also in these jabs as well. But
What if
I,
they get one and don't get the second? Is that of any benefit
it
at
can help.
all?
Yeah, it can help. Yeah, it can help. The first one opens up your DNA to be receptive to the changes
Or
in your
and the
chromosome,
payloads in the second one,
in
right?
the payloads. And the payloads in the second one is the worst, is the worst.
Okay.
And you notice that they split the work among several companies to make it difficult to get an antidote for this program.
Yeah.
Because once you get an antidote for one, then they put it in a slightly different mixture and then by another company in another shot, if you will. So, but I know it's going to fail, but we do need help. We do
Yes, we
need
do.
help in this. Yeah, we do. Hmm.
Yeah, I'm so concerned. I even have family members that have taken at least the first, and I try to present them with information, but what's happened is humanity, because they do have a heart, they just don't expect that kind of deception from
Who went on?
people that
Right. That's
are
true.
supposed to be healers and
Right.
professional doctors and so on.
Right.
And
Right. Right.
the best doctors money can buy is what it boils down to.
That's correct, my friend. That's right. Gabe. That's right. That's right. That's right.
So that it just saddens my heart because we're going to see a lot of people leaving the planet as a
I know
result.
it. I know it. Well, I want to tell you that there's this is a planet of free will, and the galactics do respect that. But you're right.
Mhm.
We don't really have free will because these people have been all lied
Thank you.
to. They've
Yes,
been lied
that's what I've
to
said.
and
Yeah,
given wrong
and
information.
poisoned.
Hmm? Yeah.
And poisoned. I
And
mean, how
poison.
much
Yeah.
does, the chemicals in the air, the chemicals in the food, the chemicals in the water, the Wi-Fi, the poisoning
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
the avatar physical body certainly has a negative, very negative effect on a person's free will or the ability to think clearly.
That's right. Absolutely. Absolutely. Absolutely, Gail. But I know we'll get through it. And I know we'll get through it. On the other hand, the galactics now and the Pleiadians are beaming positive light energy to the planet here.
Is that why the Schumann resonance is going off the
It's
charts? Does
going
that have
bananas. Yeah, it's over 10,000 now. Yeah, it's gone way,
yes,
way up.
yes, yes. I'm all in favor of that. Yes,
Yeah,
yes, yes.
it's gone much higher. Yeah, yeah. So anyway, yeah.
Well, I
That's
hope they
what-
keep doing that, because the other thing that somebody was talking to me about was saying, well, why don't they change one of the problems that people have is that they have the boob tube on too much,
I
which
agree.
programs them, and they
That's right.
don't
It
know
does.
it. They
Mhm.
don't know it. And then you tell them that, and then they
Right.
think you're cuckoo, you know,
Mhm.
and so that's another issue. But all of this, and then there's the AI intervention. Is there any talk about that from the Galactics at all?
Yeah, there is. They are slowly taking them out. They're slowly being forced off the planet.
Oh, good.
There are reptilian bases still on the planet, but I think that they will be out by the end of the year, gone by the end of the year.
I hope so. Thank you.
This ascension is inevitable. The negatives cannot stop it. What they can do is have humanity commit suicide, which is what basically is happening now.
You know what? That's funny that you said that. I mean, it's not funny, but let me put it this way. I read someone say, well, how do you like that? People sign up for this and it's like a gentleman's suicide.
It is, right. It's like the Yakuza in Japan, the Japanese mafia, who bow to you before they shoot you. Very polite. But
oh my God. It's amazing what goes on in this planet, I swear. Sometimes I go, why am I here?
No, so people are.
It doesn't resonate. You know?
We all chose to be here.
Yeah, I know. I know that, but I you know, sometimes you reconsider, you go, why, you know, but anyway, no, I'm here. I'm on a mission. I know I'm here to do as much as I can to inform people and help people in any way that I can.
Right. Well, Sedona right now is ascending into the fifth dimension, and it's the second place on planet Earth to ascend. The first place was Mount Shasta, which is now in the fourth dimension, about 4.6 right now. It's going to be in 5 dimension by end of June, July. And that's when I'll be there. I'll be there in Shasta at the end of June, at the end of August. And you're welcome to come if you like.
Oh, I would. I just got to find a way to get there and have the money to do so.
Well, it's not very expensive.
That helps a lot.
It's only $200 per person, includes free camping.
I think I can manage that.
Yeah,
and then I just got to drive there, that sort of thing. But there's enough time between now and then that I'm, I think I'll be able to do it.
You have to bring your own beer, but
I don't drink beer. Yeah.
Just kidding. No, we don't have alcohol.
Yeah.
Anyway,
No.
but it's a spiritual trip, and it's a beautiful place where we go. A lot of lovely people there, and I always love it there. Actually,
I feel a compelling to go there. I really do. Just like I was compelled to come to Sedona. Now you said that Sedona is ascending. I have to ask you something. I see a lot of people in Sedona with this, and I won't say it so we can put this on YouTube. But and I don't understand that. I go, wow.
They've drank the Kool-Aid. They've watched the television. What can I say? You know what I mean?
They've been programmed.
They've been programmed,
without even knowing it.
Yeah, they've been programmed. They can't help it.
I'm not. Yeah, that's. I try to retain compassion when sometimes you want to think that how can you be so dumb, kind of thing. But I try to remain compassionate because they have been programmed. They have fallen victim to the propaganda, to the Kool-Aid, to the kinds of things that are keeping them from going forward.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, that's right.
But I'm thinking that, and I hope I'm right, that if the vibration of the entire planet keeps going up, that they're going to see more regardless. Some of this other negativity and programming and things of that nature can start to fall off. Is that
Right.
is that fair to say that?
Yeah. 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 You can say that. Sure. Sure.
Awesome.
Oh yeah.
Awesome.
Oh yeah.
And
Yeah.
then we and I'm going to mention Tom again. And then we have people like Tom, who has this scalar light energy
Yeah.
that can disassemble things that are damaging people
That's right.
and putting down their frequency so that it can manifest what they actually
Right.
really want,
Right. Right.
but aren't aware of at this point in time. So I'm going to be having another show with Tom very soon.
Good. Yeah.
'Cause
Isn't he a good man? You
if
know?
he can disassemble some of these things that are causing these problems for people, that's all that it really takes. That, and are you familiar with the med beds?
I am familiar with the med beds. They were supposed to come out the end of January if Biden had been arrested at his inauguration then, but the dark hats had threatened to blow up DC with a dirty bomb full of radiation.
I actually did hear that.
So
I'm glad
they didn't arrest him at that time. And now that's been pushed back to November. Think of all the people it could have saved. That technology could have saved their lives.
Yes.
But the negatives have a dual purpose. They want to eliminate as many people as possible on this planet. So they just didn't.
If I can't have it, you can't have it either. It's like little 2-year-olds practically.
That's right. That's right, Gail. That's right.
The terrible twos all over again.
That's right.
So are you free to discuss that situation anymore as it stands right now?
Well, that's what I know. What about the med beds? Look at it at the end of the year by November coming out. The only thing is that these shots, they alter the DNA. And that's something that the med bed cannot reverse. However, the galactics can reverse the DNA damage.
Oh my goodness, thank goodness.
So for people that need help with it, they need to ask the galactics for help and they will step in, and God. They need to become a lot more spiritual and trust in love, and also for getting the help. They will help.
You do have to ask, though. That's really important, isn't it?
You have to ask and you have to become more spiritual. If you don't ask and you don't become more spiritual, you will leave this planet early.
Okay, when you say be more spiritual, I'm going to ask you to explain that to people so it's very clear what you're talking about.
Okay, well, no, I'm not saying this in a religious sense.
Thank you.
But I'm saying it in the sense of knowing that there's a supreme being, a God, if you will, that created everything.
Yes, yes, yes.
And it's a she, and she will help you if you ask. But you have to ask. The galactics will help too, and so will the Pleiadians. The Arcturians will help. The Sirians, Sirius B civilization will help. All of them, the Lyrans will help. The Andromedans will help. There's many benevolent star civilizations out there. We just have to ask them. I'm from the Pleiades, so I ask my Pleiadian brothers and sisters for help, and they're with me.
Well, I have to say that I was told I was Sirius B. Now, I don't know if that's true.
It is true.
Oh, good. That's good to know.
Yeah.
I thought the blue is my favorite color, and I know they look blue. And I was born during the blue storm. But anyway, that's good to know. Thank you for confirming that. That's more than one person now.
Sure.
I guess I sometimes I doubt myself, and that's probably one of my handicaps.
Okay. The more you do it, the more confident you get, Gail. Yeah, you do. There's Sirius B, which is a benevolent aquatic planet made up of dolphins and whales.
No wonder I love dolphins and whales.
Yeah, I was just there a couple of weeks ago, actually. I travel there frequently. The swimming is wonderful, and
Oh,
the
I bet.
beaches are so nice. And I love the dolphins and the whales. They're so much fun to
I
swim
was
with.
absolutely a fish when I was a child. We lived in northern Wisconsin, and my parents had a small cottage that they would take us to. And when we would stay there, we would be swimming in the morning and swimming in the afternoon. I mean, I love the water. Um,
Nice, nice,
so
nice.
that
Probably
just really fits.
a beautiful wild area, by the way.
Oh, yes, yes,
Yeah,
yes.
nice, nice.
But I do love Sedona too, because the
Yeah,
energy here, I feel the energy of
right.
the area and the
Uh-huh.
beauty. And when I drive into West Sedona, I just look around and it's just a
Gorgeous.
wonderful feeling. It's just
Yeah.
gorgeous.
I'll
Yes,
be
it
going
is.
there mid-September.
I was hoping that I may be able to get to see you at that
Yeah, it'll be
time.
great to see you then. I'll make a point. Yeah, well, I'll be there
Yeah.
on the 15th for 5
Okay.
days. And then from there, I'll be taking a small group of people down into Mexico, the spiritual sites down there.
Oh,
Uh,
I bet. Yeah.
Teotihuacan, outside of Mexico City, Pyramid of the Moon, Pyramid of the Sun. And if we get time, down to Chichen Itza and Tulum, in that area. That's my goal anyway.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I would love to go.
Well, you can come if you like. The borders are open.
Mm.
I mean, if you drive over, there's no COVID testing as far as I know, and no restrictions. It's just that if you fly in, you have all this stuff to deal with. But
Yeah,
driving,
that's that part I don't want to deal with. It's interesting because just recently I heard there's an airline that doesn't want anyone who took the jab, so that's pretty interesting. And then
really?
there's
Who's that?
yeah, you know what, I didn't get the whole story, but if I do, I'll send it to you.
Good.
I'd like to know what airline that was too. But
Yeah.
anyway, because all the other ones are being unconstitutional as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. Yeah.
And when Trump was here in Arizona, he said that not to switch gears here, but he said the med beds would come out in June. So I don't know if that's going to happen either, but anytime this year will be
I can
welcome.
I can check. Hold on.
Okay.
Will they come out in June? No,
No.
by November. That's what I got. That's what I keep getting. That was another timeline.
Okay.
There are just so many timelines. It's like a river with all these different tributaries.
Oh, okay. Okay. That's interesting. All right. That's good. And November's good.
Yeah,
You
right.
know,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
Anytime's good.
anytime's good. Yeah.
It's my understanding that they're being used at the current time. It's not like they're just not available to the general public, but that there are awful lot of children that are being helped with them. Is that
I've
correct?
heard that too. Yeah,
Okay.
being taken out from the underground bases, they're getting med beds to help them.
Horrific life they had under
Yeah,
there. And
yeah. Guess which country produces the most adrenochrome in the world?
Free Range with Gail of Gaia and Free Range Productions is proud to partner with C60evo.com, makers of ESS 60 products. C60, the carbon 60 molecule, delivers more than 172 times the power of vitamin C as an antioxidant. ESS 60 is simply the purest form of C60, a known antiviral, antibacterial, and anti-inflammatory remedy that not only works, it is the only C60 molecule that is approved for both internal and external use. ESS 60 neutralizes free radicals from cell metabolization and external toxins to help minimize inflammation and maximize detoxification. People report better sleep, more energy and flexibility, and renewed mental clarity when they take ESS 60 products. For more information, visit ess60.gailofgaia.com. That is ess60.gailofgaia.com.
I would say China, but I could be
China.
wrong.
And guess where they do it?
Wuhan.
Wuhan. And that's one of the reasons why the Three Gorges Dam will collapse
Thank you.
by next
Oh,
year.
good.
And it'll
Okay.
wipe out about a third of Chinese technology and industry and economy. And it'll way
That's
to wipe out
beautiful.
all the negativity. It'll go right through that whole area. I don't
It needs
wish
to
bad
happen.
things on them, but that's what I've been told.
I don't either, but they're not showing any mercy or any changes to the positive either. So,
No.
I think many of the benevolents have been given every opportunity to change
Leave. Yeah.
or to
Sure.
either change or leave or what have you. And, you know, if
Mhm.
they continue to refuse and so on, that there's not many choices left at that point.
Right. 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 There isn't. There isn't.
So
There
that's really important. And what's the other thing?
You know,
The other, go ahead.
there's stargates right around where you live in Sedona. Goes into the hollow earth.
Really? I've
Yeah, but
heard that. I just don't know where certain things are. And
I've been told where they are. So once you come along with me, I'll show you where they are in September. Okay.
oh, okay, that'd be awesome. I'd love that. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Sure.
Good.
Sure.
Good. That's
Sure.
exciting.
Sure.
And
Sure. Yeah.
do you take a trip to Peru too?
I usually go at least twice a year to Peru. But because of this scamdemic, I've had to postpone my trip. Now I'm planning to go December 1st. To
Ah,
Peru.
okay. I was
So
just
it should
wondering
be
because I
real
had a
fun.
friend who went there and went to some um, group or with, and they did psychic surgery and all kinds of different things. And she was just and was involved with the Hollow Earth, and it was pretty awesome.
Oh yeah, it's an amazing place. The place I like is Cusco in the Sacred Valley, Pisac.
Oh,
Then
okay.
up
I
to
think she went to Titicaca, or I don't know if that's.
Titicaca. Yeah, there's a Stargate there. We went to a
Oh, okay.
Stargate last time, more than a
Oh,
year
okay.
ago, and we heard there were children and young adults from Agartha singing to us in the fourth dimension. And overhead there were
Oh, wow.
condors flying and Sasquatch all around us. And then my friends, Pleiadian Admiral Halosaurus's mothership was there. We saw it. It was above us, protecting us while we were there. We had quite a good time. Yeah, we're going back there too. So.
Oh, that's interesting. That's awesome.
Mhm.
Um, someday maybe I'll be able to do something of that nature.
Yeah, yeah, be fun. Mhm.
What about what can you tell us about Adama?
He's the spiritual leader, the priest of Telos. He's many thousands of years old, very benevolent. When I was at Shasta about 3 years ago, he healed my eyesight. I did have
That's what
20,
I wanted. Yeah, that's what I was getting at. Okay, that's
20,
awesome.
50, 20, 40 blurry vision
Hmm.
in my right eye. And he gave me crystal clear 10 crystal clear vision in both eyes. And then the year before that, I had been working very hard for many years and my heart was starting to wear out. And so he gave me a new heart. And so I
Wow.
appreciated him so much for that. Yeah, I'm built for another 1,000 years at least. So.
Wow. What has happened to me is I'll be on Facebook when I'm out of jail anyway. Facebook's hell for posting truths. But anyway,
Right.
and I'll be thinking about something and all of a sudden I'll see something will pop up from uh, Adama's site, something,
Oh
and
yeah.
it's
Uh-huh.
usually 99 times out of 100, it relates to what I was thinking about at the time.
Uh-huh.
It just
Wow.
seems like a synchronicity of some
Wow.
sort.
That's
So
beautiful. Wow.
um, I,
Wow.
I
Wow.
appreciate that a lot.
Wow. Well, that's amazing. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
And I did some shows with a woman about Saint Germain, and
uh-huh.
we talked about Adama too,
Oh
and
yeah.
they're all
Yeah.
connected.
Oh
And
yeah.
because he spends a lot of time at Shasta as well.
Uh-huh. Yeah. It's a
So
beautiful place. Very
uh,
beautiful place. The reptilians
yeah.
recently have tried to take over Shasta because it contains portals from Lemurian days out into the Pacific. They will not be
Hmm.
successful, all they've been trying. One of
Hmm.
the things they've done over the years is spray the entire area with tons of aluminum particles
Hmm.
to dumb people down, to give people Alzheimer's disease. Um, and it's really awful. It's not going to be successful. I think the Galactics have been counteracting it.
I've heard that even they've been spraying this area like it's going out of style too.
Sedona, same thing.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah, yeah.
It makes me almost not want to go outside. But then I've also heard from other people, I don't know if I'm not sure if it's true, but it seems like recently it is being counteracted at the same time.
Right. Yeah, it is. The galactics are not going to let us die. They are helping us. So, and I'm happy about that.
Well, that's encouraging because we need the help because they're trying to take us down in any way they can.
I know that. I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
It's
One
so
of the worst
sad.
offenders is the mass media.
Oh, yes.
Because all they do is say lies.
Lies,
basically.
continuous lies. And that's why the people that are watching too much of the boob tube
Right.
end up being programmed and don't know what's really going on and then it also lowers people's vibration because it keeps them in a fear mode.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Right.
Is there any is there any possibility through any help from the benevolent ETs? And I'm asking for that help right now to do anything within their abilities to take down the mass media or get it taken over so that they are required to put out the truth.
I know that the Pleiadians, for example, have been beaming high energy positive vibrations to the planet for some time now to raise people's consciousness so they realize that the media is full of lies. They've been doing that. The media will be one of the last negative entities taken down on this planet. But you can see how brainwashed people are, and it's sad in a way because
yes, it is.
You know, there's a lot of good people in the world. There's a lot of good people in the United States and other countries, Canada, Mexico, all over the world. There's good people. But it's amazing how people can become totally brainwashed as to what reality is, and you have to break free of that. And I guess that's our challenge right now, is to break free of that. So
Yes.
that's what we need to do, is to break free of that as much as we can.
Yeah. Well, I don't even own a TV.
Okay.
And I haven't for well over 10 years.
Right. Yeah, that's good.
So, and there was a period of time where I still had one, but I would I might use it to watch a movie or something. I'd never hooked up to any of the cable or watch the news or any of that stuff.
Right.
But there's some level of programming, even in movies and TV and so on and so forth.
That's true.
Because they tell you how you should think about certain things, and they're not always necessarily to the benefit of humanity. In many ways. So let's see, what else can we cover here? I'm thinking of
you can ask when the ascension will be. I've seen it.
Thank you. Okay. Yes. Thank you. So
2025.
Ted, when will the ascension be?
Okay. All right. I look at it happening about 2025 for the entire planet.
And how will that manifest, if I might ask? Do you have any idea? I mean, how
people will shift totally into a new reality, where it's actually happening now for many people on the planet.
That keep their vibration up? Is that
keep your vibrations up? Yeah. The mass media is controlled by the negatives in this country and elsewhere. They want to put out lots of fear and negativity so that people do two things. People get more sick, and it stops the ascension. Basically, they're not going to do successful in doing either, but that's what they like to do, is to keep everybody very fearful about what's going on.
So when you talk about this ascension, it's a shift in consciousness, correct?
It is.
Okay.
And right now we talk about the media, Gail, and there's really a war going on for our hearts and minds, for our minds. And you can see it.
Yes.
In my area, up in the Seattle area, we're populated mostly in this area by what I call libtards, retarded liberal Democrats, and they don't think beyond a narrow range. If you give them information that they don't believe, they will sometimes viciously attack you. And I've seen that. You know, it's like if you don't fall into what's being told about on CNN, then you're a kook, or you're not to be believed, or whatever. You don't have any credibility.
Right.
So it's very difficult. It can be very difficult here, but that's why I'm here as well, because this place really needs a lot of light. There's a lot of good people here too, but many people have been brainwashed to the point where it's difficult to talk to them reasonably. They don't accept new information and ideas.
Is this extreme cognitive dissonance, or is something?
Yeah, it
They've
is.
been severely programmed. Is that what it is?
Yeah, that's what it is. It's severe cognitive dissonance. You could say that politely.
So different people get placed in different areas on purpose. Would you say that's correct?
Yeah, they do. And let me give you a little bit of background on that.
Okay.
Libtards like to be politically correct.
Mhm.
And that term actually came from Joseph Stalin, because in order to survive in Soviet Russia in the 30s, 40s, and 50s, you had to be politically correct. And if you weren't, you could be executed. You have to say the party line, couldn't criticize the government, only could accept a small certain of facts as to what reality was. If you stepped out of that, you were subjugated to imprisonment, death, sent to the gulag, exiled to Siberia. So that's where that came from. And Joseph Stalin really
Wow.
admired Hitler in the sense that Hitler said that if you say a big lie loud enough and long enough, people will believe it. So what Stalin did after World War II is he took a group of about 50 Soviet citizens. He told them a lie every day for 2 months. And after 2 months, 96% of the people believed the lie. And look
that's how dangerous the media is.
That's how dangerous the media is now. Sure, they can tell you that that birds don't fly and we don't breathe air, and
up is down, left is right.
Left is right, up is down. Yeah. And we have all this danger around us with this invisible threat, and we must put the thing over our face and get this jab in to be safe. All this nonsense. And they don't listen to scientific information. To the contrary, they just don't. And that's the same people as in Stalin's Russia who were lied to, except that over 2 months, but this is over a year now, and people get so brainwashed. And it's impossible.
And the censorship too is beyond belief as well.
It is. And it's illegal, completely illegal.
Yeah. Unlawful. Violates universal law.
Yeah. Well, let me tell you something else. During the Nazi era, Hitler abolished, there was laws on the books there, but they were never enforced. Hitler instead issued executive orders. It was always government by decree. And how many governors of how many states have done that? Government by decree, where they just issue orders all the time. In Washington state, our Democratic governor, Inslee, he just issues orders all the time. Actually, he doesn't even meet with the legislature anymore. All he does is issue a press release. He issues a piece of paper. He doesn't even meet with the press. He just says, this is a new law. I've enacted now. And there's no basis for it. The shutdowns and lockdowns were all ruled unconstitutional by a federal judge in Tacoma, Washington last June of 2020. But nobody ever cites it. Everybody kind of says, yes, obey. We obey you. Oh, great king.
Yeah.
And if you've got
blind obedience is what's continuing the nightmare.
Yeah. And the other thing with him too is that we've got Dominion voting systems here. And last year we had an election. He theoretically won with 69% of the vote, even though there were dump Inslee signs all over the state. He only gave one campaign speech in Eastern Washington, in Pasco, Washington, at a community college there, where he was booed off the stage. But yet, the Republican challenger, a guy named Culp, campaigned all over the state. He had lots of support. But with Dominion voting, hey, it's all rigged. No problem.
It is totally rigged. And they're trying to prove that here in Arizona right now. And the Maricopa County Board of Supervisors are doing everything to block it because they're guilty.
They're going to jail, by the way. They're going to be in prison a long time. They will likely be persecuted for treason, which is a capital offense subject to execution by a firing squad.
Is that confirmed by?
That's what I'm seeing. Yeah. And it's going to come. The truth's going to come out. I don't care what they do. I don't care how many lawyers they hire. It's not going to work. Let's see when they're going to be the truth's going to come out. 2 months.
Right now.
3 months. August.
Okay.
August.
That's when they're saying that Trump will come back in as well as August is a big possibility.
I think that what you'll see are the states falling like dominoes across the county.
Yes, I've seen that too. And it's going to start with Arizona because they're going down.
With Arizona,
Oh, they're supposed to be, the board of supervisors is supposed to be subpoenaed to the court for, they refuse to turn over passwords
Yeah,
and
I saw
routers, making lame excuses as to why they can't do that. And there's too many of we the people right now in Arizona that are awake enough, and even people that aren't necessarily Republican are saying, "Wait a minute, we can't have fraud.
well,
We'll
maybe
never
these individuals should be put in jail until they have they recover their
change of
memory.
heart." Exactly. Well, that's what I think, because if it was you or I or anyone else, I guarantee you they would be in jail by now.
Right, right. Uh-huh.
I think there was something that was presented as well to the courts by we the people, or an Arizona Assembly, or people involved with that,
Mhm.
that have said that they've named off all the positions, including the governor of the state and the secretary of state, all of whom have confirmed and said it's okay to have this fraudulent election. Okay.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So I just saw that this morning, and I'm going, wow, I hope this moves forward. We'll see
Yeah,
how, but we have a lot of problems with our judicial system and the judges too, because they are threatened. They have a lot of excuses for that, but
sure,
um,
sure.
there's no real justice in the just us system,
Right,
because
right,
we're not the just us people.
right. Yeah,
So,
that's true. Yeah. Uh-huh. Right. Yeah. Right.
and so I'm feeling kind of proud of Arizona right now, that people are stepping up and seeing the fraud and saying, this ain't, we ain't having it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So that's where I see consciousness raising in the state, and that's a wonderful thing. And I have to thank the galactics for that, and the ETs that are
Yeah.
actually helping those kinds of things to happen by continuing to bombard our planet with high frequency energies. I think that's a wonderful
That's
thing. What
right.
a great
Yeah.
way.
That's what's happening now. Yeah. That's what's happening now. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
That's beautiful. I love it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I thank
Yeah.
them for that.
Well,
Keep it coming. Keep it
you're
coming.
all of us, and you're helping too, Gail, because all of this helps. All of us working together. It's not just one person. All of us. It's too big a movement. That's why they're trying to eliminate many of the people
Mhm.
right now with this shot program. Um, I'm potentially looking at a third of the planet dying off within the next couple of years.
Wow,
But
that's so
doesn't
sad.
have to happen if people become more spiritual. None of it has to happen because the galactics will step in if we become more spiritual and ask for help. They will help. So it doesn't have to happen. You know, it's not
And
written.
these are the benevolent ETs or the creator herself.
That's right. Uh-huh. That's
I
right.
was happy
Exactly.
to hear you say that, because not too many people will say that. They go, oh, that's hogwash.
Yeah. Well,
Because we've been
yeah.
indoctrinated to believe that the creator is a man or a male or whatever.
Well,
Um,
it's both energies, but it's more
yeah.
female than male. That's what I think. So it's both energies, but
Oh,
more female.
yeah. Okay. Like one's not supposed to be above the other,
Yeah,
technically.
right. Exactly. That's exactly right. Yeah.
Mhm.
Hmm.
Yeah. That's my take on it anyway.
Yeah.
So
So, so,
let's see. Um,
Gail, how did you get your radio program started? What inspired you to start this show?
well, let's see. I've been doing it for about 5 or 6 years now.
Uh-huh.
And I started out because I was retired,
Uh-huh.
and I knew that people, I was more, the health orientation, because I'm a nutritionist by background. So I started inviting people on about different health issues that weren't part of the mainstream health issue, because
Hmm.
I saw the problems in that a long time ago.
Right.
And then I got started, and I really enjoyed doing it, and I just kept at it. And now I have a couple of volunteer people that help me in post-production and help me with marketing. And
Good.
it made it possible partly because I got Social Security. I would love to be able to have more funds to be able to keep things and make things even better, but I work within my means as best I can.
Sure.
And as
Right.
long
That's
as
good.
I can get my rent paid and get the bills paid that are necessary, I'm
Sure.
okay,
Right.
because it doesn't take a whole lot
Yeah.
to make me happy.
That's
And
good.
this makes me happy. I enjoy
Okay.
doing this.
Okay.
And that's why I just kept at it. And I learned from people too,
Sure. Right.
you
I'm the
know.
same way. I'm the same way. Yeah. 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 I'm the
And
same
so
way. Yeah.
that's where I'm at. That's where I'm coming from.
Great.
And I love to help people. If there's any way I can help people,
Good.
that's what I'm here for.
That's good. That's good.
And while I had my career as a nutritionist, whenever I had the opportunity, I worked in the women, infant, and children supplemental feeding program,
Mm.
because I want to, that's what always brings me back to the children, because it breaks my heart what's happened to the children on this planet. And I remember the day when we would have missing children on milk cartons all the time.
Oh yeah.
After a while,
Right.
there were so many missing children that they couldn't
I
even
know.
put them on milk cartons
I know.
anymore.
I
mean,
remember that a lot of those were taken for the adrenochrome factories back then.
yeah.
Yeah,
And
they
people,
were.
there are
Yeah.
still people that don't even know what adrenochrome is.
Oh yeah. Well, it was more than that. After they used it for adrenochrome, they would be sent to the reptilians, because the reptilians look at young children as a delicacy to be eaten.
That is so disgusting.
I don't want to go into details, but that's what I
Yeah.
do know about them.
Yeah.
And then
And
the
the
Greys,
satanic
with the
rituals.
big black eyes, they like to swim in vats of human blood. They particularly like the adrenochrome too. They like it as well.
That
Anyway,
is just absolutely appalling and disgusting, and all that
yep,
other kind of stuff
yep,
that goes with it.
yep, yep. And thanks to President Eisenhower, our government's been involved with them since March of '54. I think those agreements have ended now, but we were involved with them for many decades. That's why
and that agreement was to allow them to abduct a certain number of humans. Is that correct? Or animals?
it's called a Treaty of Merida.
Yeah.
I don't know why it's called Merida, but it's called the Treaty of Merida. It's written about in my book that you can get at out of this
okay.
world readings .com. But it's called the Treaty of Merida, and it was executed in March of '54. The reptilians threatened Eisenhower. They said, if you don't sign this agreement allowing us access to your population to abduct and study your species, then we'll give you technology if you allow us to abduct and study your species. So they did. But they said, before they did, they said, if you don't allow us to do that, then we'll give it to the Soviets and they'll become the preeminent power on planet Earth. But
Right.
little did Eisenhower know that the reptilians were executing the same agreement with the Russians as they were with the
same
Americans.
time. Oh
So
my
it's like
God.
playing both sides of each other.
Now, okay, yeah, both sides against the middle. Well, my understanding, and correct me if I'm wrong, was that there was a benevolent group that made an offering prior to that,
6 months prior.
which was turned down because
That's
they
right.
refused to give up nuclear weapons.
Actually, the President Eisenhower liked the Pleiadians and their offer, but Nixon and the Joint Chiefs of Staff were against it. And Nixon was afraid that that all of his doctor friends and friends in big pharma would lose their jobs because there would be no more sickness and bad health on the planet. And
Oh
the Joint
my.
Chiefs of Staff wanted weapons. And the Pleiadians weren't offering any weapons. They were offering a peaceful, benevolent paradise for people without conflict. And the Joint Chiefs of Staff, including I think it was General Curtis LeMay, was against it. They wanted weapons, and the reptilians came back. Then in March of '54, they said, "Keep your nuclear weapons. It's fine with us. We just want to abduct and stuff. We can give you weapon systems too," and they did. So that's what happened. That's the true story. What happened? So.
Wow. What's going on with that group right now? Do you know anything about that?
Which group? The Galactics or the?
No, the Joint Chiefs of Staff and
now the military has realized their mistake, I think, and they're working with the good guys. There are some rogue elements of the military
Mhm.
who are in bed with the cabal, but it's a very small, it's a small percentage.
Mhm.
Um, Small percentage, because the cabal have their own military forces as well, which are very powerful.
Mercenary type
Right,
guys.
right. That's what attacked. That's who attacked Syria. What was it, earlier this year in this crazy war? It was like Biden and the cabal were looking for a war to stir up, so they attacked Syria.
Yes, they've been trying so hard to
But that
start a war. I see that.
wasn't regular U.S. military. That was cabal military using U.S. flag equipment that us taxpayers had paid for. That's what I'm seeing.
Oh, wow, that's just wrong.
Yeah, but it's going to be uncovered, Gail, and things are going to turn around. You watch. You watch. Things will get better, but we have to do the homework ourselves and educate people.
Right,
So,
right. Well, people have to be willing to listen to the education or the information, however you want to look at it, that we put forward so that they can learn about things that they may not be aware of, but need to be aware of.
right, right, right. That's right. Absolutely.
So remember the time when the Native Americans from Standing Rock were being basically tortured for standing up for the water
Right,
rights and
right,
so
right.
on. Was that mercenaries too? That are cabal mercenaries? Do you know?
What we're fighting there, we're attacking them.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, I think probably yes. I got that. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. And people aren't always aware of that. It's not always the people that they think that they are, because it's my understanding even Big Pharma has a military arm of their own.
I wouldn't doubt it.
Because remember when all of the naturopathic doctors were being killed?
They still are,
They still are.
quietly.
Wow.
They still
I
are.
guess that's why I feel protected, even though I went to naturopathic medical school for almost 3 years.
Really?
And I
Hmm.
wasn't able to, I ran into all kinds of financial difficulties and I wasn't able to continue.
That's too bad.
And, but I would have been one of the ones out there
Yeah, yeah,
against the jabs and all that kind of stuff.
yeah,
So maybe
yeah.
my life was
Well,
spared. And I love what I'm doing right now.
yeah,
So everything happens for a reason sometimes that we're not always aware of at the time.
yeah. That's right. That's right. Well, you're doing well, and I know the Galactics really appreciate, and the Pleiadians really appreciate your help. So
Oh, thank you.
yeah,
That warms my heart to know
yeah,
that they
yeah,
appreciate it as well.
yeah, yeah. Great.
So
Yeah.
keep sending great people like yourself to me.
Okay. All right, Gail. Well,
And go ahead.
yeah, I really appreciate your work, and thank you so much for inviting me on. I have a couple of websites. I have my main radio website is outofthisworldradio.net, and then my ordering website where I've got talk about my trips and my book is outofthisworldreadings.com. And finally, I have another site called galacticwisdomconference.com, which has all the videos from my most recent Galactic Wisdom Conference in March of this year. And just go to that galacticwisdomconference.com site and go to the upper left-hand corner, and you can click on Live 2021. You can watch the whole conference for $35 for 17 hours for lots of good speakers.
Oh, that's awesome. I don't know if you would have the time, but if you would send those links to me in an email, I'll put it in the description of the video when I have it processed and done. And that way people will be able to get it very easily.
Great. And also my radio show, I broadcast on Saturdays on BBS Radio 1 out of San Francisco from 10 a.m. to 12 noon or 1 p.m. Pacific in English, and then from 3 to 4 in English and Spanish. And then on Mondays, every other Monday, I broadcast from noon to 2 p.m. Pacific or 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. Central European time in Vienna, Austria on Radio Soul International in German and in English, auf Deutsch and auf English. So
that's awesome. I saw I went to that site when I was looking at some of your site, and I saw that they had, you could be a host for your own, for another radio show. I was actually thinking about that. I don't know. Sometimes it's easier to be on the radio without the visual part and just have another show as another way to get stuff out there and get information out there. So I'm looking at that as maybe a possibility down the road here.
Okay. Yeah, the more you get out the word, the better, frankly. Yeah.
Yeah. We just got to saturate the masses with as much real information as we can, because they're not getting anything good from mass media.
That's right.
And I think more people are beginning to realize that as well. So thank you so much, Ted. I really enjoyed this conversation, and I've learned a few new things that I didn't know before. And I'd love to stay in touch. And who knows, maybe we can do this again at some point.
That'd be fun. I'd love to have you on my show sometime too. So
that would be great.
Send me your broadcast information. We'll set up a time. Okay.
Okay. Thank you so much, Ted. You have a wonderful rest of the day. And thank you for everything you've shared.
All right. Thank you so much, Gail. You take care.
You too. Thank you, everyone, for listening. We appreciate it.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.